Alright, so today we're continuing our review of area and perimeter, and we are going to mainly talk about triangles and trapezoids. So we're going to start by finding the perimeter of a triangle. So perimeter, remember, is always the same. It's just the distance around a figure. So here we would just add up all of our sides. So the perimeter is going to equal 5 plus 5 plus 6, or 16 centimeters, because we have the unit on this one. So even with the trapezoid, it's going to be similar. We're going to find the perimeter. We're going to add up all the sides. So we have 24 plus 16 plus 16 plus 20. So I might put the 20 and 24 together and give me 44. 16 and 16 is 32. So then that would make this 76 inches for the perimeter. Now that we just did a quick review of perimeter, let's talk a little bit about area. So let's first start with the area of a triangle. So when you're finding the area of a triangle, it's 1/2 the base times the height. So here we have our formula. So here we have an example. Our height is 4, our base is 8, so it becomes 1/2 times 8 times 4. A couple different ways you could look at it. 8 times 4 is 32, half of that is 16, so it would be 16 units squared. So here's another example. One thing I like to do is kind of explain why it's actually the way it is. So you notice if I were to draw an identical or almost identical triangle to this, it looks like a parallelogram. Well, you remember a parallelogram is finding area by taking the base times the height. But there's two triangles in one parallelogram, and that's where the 1/2 comes from, because we're finding half of the area of the parallelogram. So in this particular triangle, we're going to have 1/2 times 3 times 6. I like to do my 3 times 6 first, which is 18. Half of that is 9, so this would be 9 centimeters squared. So when you go ahead and pause the video and try this one on your own. So if you wanted to, you could draw the rest of the parallelogram. You don't have to. It's just going to be 1/2 times 7 times 10. Or if I do 7 times 10, that's 70. Half of that would be 35. So the area is going to be 35 centimeters squared. So a triangle is pretty easy and straightforward. The more challenging one to remember is a trapezoid. The area of a trapezoid is 1/2 the height times the sum of the base lengths, so which we call B1 and B2. So this would probably be a formula that you should get down in your notes. It comes up on things like MCAs, although you usually get the formula sheet, but you want to make sure that you have access to it. In our example here, we have one base, which is 3, one base, which is 7, and it's good to note that the bases are always the parallel sides in a trapezoid, and then the height is found in the perpendicular line between them. So we'd add our bases, which would be 3 plus 7 times 2 for the height, so that would be 42, or sorry, 3 plus 7 would be 10, times 2 is 20, divided by 2, and that's where they get the 10 square units. So let's look at another example. So remember, our bases are always the parallel sides, so here 8 and 4. I left the formula here for us to have that, so we're first going to add 8 plus 4, and then we're going to multiply it by our height, which is 6, and then divide it by 2, or multiply the whole thing by half, which is the same. 8 plus 4 is 12. 12 times 6 becomes 72. We're going to do 72 divided by 2, which gives us 36. In this case, it's going to be units squared. So I want you to try out the trapezoid formula for yourself. Go ahead and pause the video and try this one out, and then check your answer. So here we have 12 plus 8. We're going to multiply that by 9 and divide by 2. So 12 plus 8 would be 20, times 9 is going to be 180, divided by 2, which gives us an answer of 90 centimeters squared.